How's it going, guys? It's Burgers here, and today I'm going to talk about the Roland and Frederick Barbarossa, the pikemans, the military specialty pikemans, warriors. They are here. And if Rowan actually replaced Barbarossa, a lot of players are just wasting months of investment, and maybe they don't even realizing that, because Barbarossa is from Season 1. This is one of the first heroes in the game. So we're going to check it out in this video. Is Roland going to replace Barbarossa, or Rowan may actually replace Barbarossa? Now I have been testing Rowan in this pioneer server where we have access. I can make his spell level 40. I can make him like 5-star. I actually didn't test it like a 5-star, but let's say I have like 21,000 medals exchange. I can do that. I know that the majority of there is a decent amount of heroes that shine at 5-star, but I prefer to keep the heroes and the tests around the 3-star. The reason behind is this is basically what majority of the people are going to have. They're not going to have fully 5-star heroes. There are specific marches that definitely is good to be 5-star, but anyway, oh my god, I'm like a dog. I start sniffing some ideas in my head and I get loose here. But anyway, now I have been testing Rowan in the different setups, rallies, open fields, sustain fights, not because Rowan is broken. And yeah, let's start from the results, and the results are honestly dangerous for the current meta. Not because Rowan is broken, but because he changed how the fights are won. Now, first thing first, why it actually matters for you, my viewer. Here is the problem. If you keep using Barbarossa the same way as before, you lose trades, you burn more troops, you waste healing speedups, one of the most valuable stuffs in this game, because getting healing speedups is very hard. And the worst part, you lose fights you should be actually winning. So let's break down step by step. I'm going to try to explain everything basically step by step, because this is where most players already make the first mistake. So here's the situation. You look at Barbarossa, damage reduction. Maybe let me go at the Barbarossa. Where is my beautiful Barbarossa? Level 120. So you look at him. Now, I'm not so sure this heroes is not commanders, okay? So I'm just going to put aside the commander skill. I mean, but still reduce up to 5 anyway. We're going at the signature skill. Reduce your troop damage taken. So you see damage reduction, emergency healing under 50%. You're going to start get some healing, and quasi defense support. Armored based. Now from here, yeah, you can go and get recover, even more recovery. This is the charging state, but yeah, this is actually a classic defense support right here. You can even see it from your hero. This is defense and recovery, so you can start getting an idea. Now let's look at the Rowan. What we're seeing around the Rowan. Where is this bad boy? There he is. Buffs and recovery. This is the first thing we see. Now from the Rowan, you see damage reduction. When your troops take normal attack, there's 35% chance to reduce the enemy damage by enemy dealt to your troop by 20%. This on level 40. I want to point out this thing, and increase your commander might damage. So it's not only reducing the damage, but you're boosting your commander's damage by 25% for 3 seconds. This is triggering 1 time per second. So, you know, damage reduction is also having some healing. Every 4 times other heroes in your troop deals skill damage, continuous damage, blah blah. Recover your units 70% might bonus up to 1 time every 3 seconds. So damage reduction, healing, and extra damage for your commander. Now the important part here is extra damage for your commander, because from season 1, for some reason, people start thinking that this is the way to go. I mean, the pikemans should be the tanks. After this, the Cyrus was presented, Cyrus the Great in the game. So people start looking for some combos with Cyrus, and to be fair, every single Lubu build can be defeated by Cyrus. If you build Cyrus correctly, you can counter every Lubu build. But anyway, this is other topic. Now the people start actually using the pikemans like fighting force. Okay, fighting force. So right now we're looking at Rowan and how he actually, from point of what is giving to your legion, that actually he starts replacing Barbarossa. And what the most players are thinking, they do the same thing from first look, but this is not correct. This is not correct. That is completely wrong. Barbarossa is reactive defense. Reactive. He is reacting. Under 50%, he's reactive. Rowan is continuous pressure defense. So you're seeing here reactive against continuous. Why? Because Roland is going to give you 25% more might damage to your commander. He's going to give you some damage reduction. He's going to give you healing like Barbarossa. But the difference here is the healing to Barbarossa is coming under 50%. And to be fair, under 50%, if you end up under 50%, well, you're not getting the best value from your legion. So any kind of buffs you're receiving under 50%, better just go back to your castle, make a full legion, and go out and fight again. At 20-30%, you should just reinforce. Reinforce your troops, and like this, you're basically going to have less troops, in less dead troops. Let's say it like this. So here is one of the key difference. Barbarossa is reactive defense. On specific times, he basically increased his defense. To Rowan is continuous pressure defense. It's continuous because 25% chance, 20% reduction, and also increasing the commander might by 25%. Now why does it actually matter? Barbarossa only becomes strong when your HP drops below 50%, and boy, you don't want your legion, you don't want to move on the map with legion under 50%. You're basically a target. So, and your units are already dying. Basically, if you're under 50%, you're basically dying. That means you're already losing the fights. Under 50%, if somebody is buffing you, even with stuff like this, I don't know if I make a video about Barbarossa. I think I should have one on my channel, but yeah, if you're fighting under 50%, waiting when your units fall below 50% reduced damage taken and getting some healing, brother, you're already out of the battle, okay? So yeah, if you ever lost a fight and two, I should win that. You probably missed a mechanic like this, you know? Mechanic like this. You see Barbarossa, you think you should win, but you don't win. So don't forget to drop a like. This is exactly the type of details that save your resources long term. So hit one like on the video so more people can get access to this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you already don't. I mean, like 50% from my viewers are actually my subscribers, which thank you very much. But if you're one of those that are not subscribed, consider subscribing if you're interested in this game. And don't forget the like, please. So Yeah, after the shameless speech about that one like, that is for free, by the way. Now let's talk about the Rowan difference. Now let's look at Rowan. He doesn't wait for you to lose. Yeah, basically because under 50%, as already mentioned, you're basically losing, my friend. You're losing. He doesn't wait you for to lose. He reduces enemy damage constantly. 25% to get 20% down. He heals based on the skill activity. Every 4 times other hero in your troop deals skill damage, continuous damage excluded, you basically recover. So I can say you can get pretty decent recovery right there. And he skills during the fight. He also get this 25% commander skill. So more triggers, more 25%, more 20% reduction, more 4 times, more healing, more everything. And if you have some, let's check it out. The more skills. I didn't actually check it out the skills, but after here more scaling, by the way. After your troop takes 12 normal attacks, count up to 2 times per second. Recover your troop. Might bonus, armor bonus, increase damage though. This is not good in my opinion. Every 4 times your troop takes a skill damage, reduce your troop damage taken by some percentage for 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, there's 50% chance. This is a good one, I think. Fearless retribution. I mean, I may make a separate video for the Roland, okay? Just let me know in the comments below if you want more of this type of video where I compared you to heroes and why one of the heroes fell off and other one is starts to be a rising star in Age of Empire Mobile. So yeah, what the Rowan is having? He's having enemy damage constantly by boosting the commander. He heals based on the skill activity every 4 times, and he skills during the fight. Now some key insights, let's say some key insights. This is the part actually nobody's talking about. Rowan doesn't protect you when you're losing. He prevents you from losing in the first place. So if Barbarossa starts triggering his magic skills under 50%, Rowan is preventing you to actually hit this 50%. He's helping you from the start. This is very important to be mentioned. That there is a huge difference right there. And here's one scenario. Let's say you're in the open field fight. Situation, you engage another march. What players do wrong is with Barbarossa, you tank damage, you wait for low HP, rely on emergency healing. Okay, you basically don't wait for the HP. If you're counting on 50% to start, your hero starts triggering something can be valuable one, you probably should switch to Cavalry and Wubu and not actually go for Pikemen, because this is horrible. This is horrible. Now, I don't think I have to say why it's bad, but you take full damage early, you lose troops efficiency, you lose basically your troop efficiency, because right now you're having less, and fall behind in the trades. You're already bleeding value. But you're already out. Rowan alternative. What is the Rowan alternative? With Rowan, enemy damage is reduced early. 25% is having this bad boy, 20% reduction. Your damage is increased, 25% for your commander. Healing triggers during the fight. Healing triggered during the fight. Every 4 times you get this 70%. Now from there, if you want more healing, you can actually go with spell like this. Tendency, recover units every 9 seconds. Or I think this one is also giving you the troop damage taken by some percentage, 50% chance to get some recovery rate. Fearless retribution, when hit by a normal attack, there's 2 counter attack, dealing damage to the attacker, 25, blah blah blah. and giving some recovery. So you see, there is just so many approaches you can do for Roland to even boost more the survivability. So what is going to be the result between the Roland and the Barbarossa? With Roland, you take less damage from the start. That means better trades. Less healing needed, more time on the field. The more time on the field, more time execution of commander, signature, whatever skills. You name it. You just need that survivability. You have to stay there and fight. It's very important. So, but here's where it gets even more dangerous. Rowan doesn't just replace Barbarossa. He changes how entire composition work. And I'll explain that in a second. Now, Rowan's healing is not tied to OHP. Let's start from there. It's tied to skill frequency. 4 times you get the healing. 4 times you get the healing. Now let's talk about the mistake number 2. Most players don't build around this over the skill frequency. They treat Rowan like a pull and play tank. Okay? Which it makes sense, because this is one of the main purpose. After all, reducing the damage and, you know, giving some healing. From first look, this is what the people are expecting, but I think this is a mistake if you want to use him as a pull and play tank. Now, why this is wrong? This is just inefficient. Let's start from there, because Roland value comes from how often skills are triggered. So you should pair Roland with high skill activational heroes. This is one of the ways. Multi-trigger setups and sustain DPS composition, just because the Roland is going to keep you alive on the battlefield for more time. So if you have this sustained DPS composition, you're going to even benefit more. Now let's say scenario number 2. Let's say you pair Roland incorrectly. Situation: low skill activational team. Result: you get weak healing with Roland, inconsistent damage reduction 35%, and average performance. So you think Roland is overrated, but the problem is in your setup right there. Now pair Roland with high activational heroes and frequent skill triggers. You're going to get this juicy healing. So much time. Yeah, it's like 1 time every 3 seconds. I mean, still there is a restriction, but yeah, still better. Now you're going to get healing become constant, damage reduction loops, and fight lasts longer. And this is where Rowan become a problem, because long fights equal higher value for Rowan. You don't want to have long fights with Barbarossa, because it's going to be painful if you go under 50%. So, and finally, let me give you one more scenario before I close this topic. Rowan against Barbarossa. Is Rowan actually replacing Barbarossa? In the extent fights, Barbarossa trigger late, under 50%, limited healing window, under 50%. So you basically, if there is like 2 minutes from 100% to 50%, there is going to be 3 minutes from 50% to 0%. Let's say it like this. So you basically have half of the healing limit, half of your half time window with limited healing. And let's talk about the Rowan. Scales consistently, multiple value over time. Now, pattern break. Let's talk about this. Everything I say so far is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem, the biggest mistake players are making is still using Barbarossa in the same situations. Players still use Barbarossa in long fights, sustained battles, swarm environments. And that is the worst environment for him, because Barbarossa, his value is delayed, his healing is limited, his impact is capped. There is a cap of the impact of Barbarossa. Till the Rowan advantage is going to be Rowan in the same situation, consistently reduce damage, consistently heal, consistently boost the output and boosting your commander. So if you're starting to see the difference, this is exactly how meta shifts are happening. And don't forget to subscribe, because most players won't understand this until it's actually too late. So don't forget to subscribe, hit one like on the video. And I don't want to make this video more longer. I think the majority of the people actually understand what is the crazy difference between Frederick Barbarossa and how he basically get replaced by Roland at the end of the day. So again, hit one like, subscribe for more Age of Empire mobile gameplay videos, tips and tricks, guides, new heroes, tier list, basically you name it. I wish you a great day and see you in the next video.